Greg, yes, Greg, hi.
Hi, good morning, Charlie. Can you hear me?
I can, Greg, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for rejoining us. Really appreciate it.
Great.
I was thinking about your question in terms of influence in that leadership role. And my own self-reflection is I think I kind of gauge my level of influence and effectiveness based on the results that I get from working with people. And results not mean manager-driven results, but leadership.
Yes.
How I see them develop in the process of taking on more responsibility or handling the responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think it's a constant reset for me. It's like, yeah, if I think things are not going well, old days, I might have thought, oh, let me try to fix or change that person. These days, it's like, what do I need to change within myself?
Yes.
That to me is the difference. Also, I really enjoyed you pointing out the difference between the leader and the manager. It will always start with yourself.
Exactly. I do an awful lot of training as well with a lot of groups. And, what people often say to me, well, I don't know how to change that person and their behavior in their organizations. And very much in line with what you've said, Greg. My advice to them always is, you can't change another person. None of us can. Yep. We can only change our response to them in the situation. Mm-hmm. And therefore, if you want to change the behavior or to change the way that person interacts as part of a team or with you as a leader, you have to look to yourself and change your behaviors. Now, this doesn't go down too well for everyone, because again, why should I change my behavior because they're behaving appallingly? But this is not, the whole point is the essence of being a really strong master who has mastered self-leadership is that you will know that you can't change anybody else. Therefore, you've got to look at what's happening and see, how can I change to get that person to change? So they will reflect a change back to you. And so you will bring that sense of calm. So you're absolutely correct, Greg. It is all about looking at yourself. And that's a part of being humble, is part of those characteristics. We don't know everything, but it is incumbent on us as leaders to help other people grow and develop and to help them realize. And again, you can do that through the coaching questioning techniques. Mm-hmm. How do you feel? Have you noticed your behavior? Have you noticed the impact of your behavior on others? Or have you noticed your performance? And then try and work with them to get them to think, oh, I wasn't aware. And it's really to help your employees develop their self-awareness.
Charlie, I'll just add, just to sort of dovetail on what Greg is saying. Sometimes being a leader is leading up and down the organization. And more often than not, I think an important element of that is finding out what motivates the people who you are interacting with. And so when you can find what the top leadership in your organization, what motivates them, you can be a little bit more empathetic, and you can step into their shoes and figure out what works for them, as well as those people who may or may not report to you and those folks who are your equals in the organization. Understanding, I think, what motivates people, I think is a really good element to being a revolutionary leader.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the key essence, just to support what you're saying there, Milry, also, one of the key things that I mentioned is that, when you want to understand those motivators, you have to understand you can't motivate other people until you're motivated. Yes. So it's, again, we're back, master your self-motivation before you even attempt to motivate others. And, I do discuss in detail and give some guidelines. It's about understanding also our own motivators as leaders. Are they intrinsic or are they extrinsic? So are we motivated by how fulfilled we are? It's back to our legacy, how we want to be remembered. Or are we purely motivated by the external, by the big car and the 2 or 3 holidays a year, etc.? Or is it a bit of both? So to look at our own motivators and understand them before we have those motivational conversations with others. And as you say, Milry, either up or down, we really need to know. It could be linked again back to the values.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes those external motivations can just be affirmations. You know,
Yeah.
you're doing a great job, or I love the way you're leading the organization, or you
Yeah.
know, there's something spectacular on this project. You know,
Yeah.
that can be a great motivator for folks, among many motivators.
Exactly. It's to see the people, it's to hear them, and it's to value them.
Yeah.
And a simple please and thank you can do an awful lot.